Chapter 4675. Hong Dongchuan looked at Duan Lingtian with eyes full of shock and disbelief. Although he has not known Duan Lingtian for a long time, he also knows that this is not a person who talks freely. Since he said so, he must have truly achieved a breakthrough. Seeing Duan Lingtian nodding, even though he was prepared, he couldn't help but gasp. Just because it's so scary. Entering the 9th level. The last time, he and his opponent faced off at Qingtian Peak near the capital of Jiangzhou, and the opponent was only on the 8th level of the Dao. How long has it been? Just entered the 9th level? Some time ago, I followed my master and walked around the endless sword domain, and I made a breakthrough. Duan Lingtian smiled and said to Hong Dongchuan. Hong Dongchuan naturally knew about the endless sword domain. He had even been there and wanted to seek a breakthrough in the way of swordsmanship, but he had gained nothing. But he didn't expect that when Duan Lingtian went to that place, his swordsmanship would reach the 9th level in one fell swoop. Only in this way can Duan Lingtian break through to the 9th level of the Dao. If you enter the 9th level, you will definitely get more things. However, I can't promise you on behalf of the royal family. You have to negotiate this yourself. Hong Dongchuan said to Duan Lingtian. The implication is obvious: as long as you show your worth, the royal family will definitely not be stingy. Okay. Duan Lingtian nodded, and since he had nothing to do now, he followed Hong Dongchuan to Jiangzhou again, to the capital, and even followed Hong Dongchuan into the royal compound. He even had a brief discussion with the 9th level expert from the royal family. Although it was only a short exchange, the winner was determined. Duan Lingtian wins. Hiss dash. Seeing this, Hong Dongchuan couldn't help but gasped again. He never expected that Duan Lingtian, who had just broken through to the 9th level, would be stronger than the 9th level expert from the royal family. It was simply outrageous. Is that human being? Brother Duan, you are awesome. This 9th-level expert from the royal family is an old man who looks to be over 70 years old. He holds a cane in his hand, has white hair and white eyebrows, and a kind look. Although he was defeated, he did not show any strange emotions at all, and he was still calm. But in fact, his strength still caused waves of chaos. Originally, he was just curious that Duan Lingtian, a little guy recognized by the outside world as the 3rd strongest person in Jianglan Divine Kingdom, could step into the 9th level of Taoism in such a short period of time, and did not think that the other party could be his opponent. But he didn't expect that the other party was so powerful and even stronger than him. With you here, little brother Duan, we, Jianglan Divine Kingdom and Kuhai Temple, are determined to win this battle for the Hadao Monument. This old man, named Jiang Haishan, is the ancestor of the royal family of Jianglan Divine Kingdom. The powerful Hadao realm member of the royal family of Jianglan Divine Kingdom was his grandfather. Senior Jiang, thank you very much. Duan Lingtian said modestly. And then, without him having to take the initiative to speak, Jiang Haishan bluntly said that he was willing to give Duan Lingtian more benefits, even if the time to comprehend the Hadao Monument could be extended to 800 years. You know, when Duan Lingtian was only on the 8th level of Dao, Hong Dongchuan came over and told Duan Lingtian that it would take 300 years to comprehend the Hadao Monument. But now, it has directly become 800 years. If Jianglan Divine Kingdom and Kuhai Temple win the battle over the Hadao Steel, they will also get the use of the Hadao Steel for 1,000 years. They are promised 800 years at once, which is equivalent to the royal family only leaving 200 years for enlightenment. The time of the Hadao Monument. It can be seen that without Duan Lingtian joining, the royal family has no illusions about this time's battle for the Hadao Monument. Brother Duan, you help our Jianglan Divine Kingdom seize the Hadao Monument this time, and help us seize it again in 1,000 years. The royal family can give you the Hadao Monument that will be captured in 1,000 years. Jiang Haishan continued, and in his words, he obviously wanted Duan Lingtian to help Jianglan Divine Kingdom twice in a row. Although the temptation of the Hadao Monument was not small, Duan Lingtian did not lose his mind due to the promise made by the other party. He just smiled lightly and said, "Thousands of years later, if I am still here in Jianglan Divine Kingdom, I will naturally be willing to serve the royal family." With that again a fight at the Bitter Sea Temple. Hearing Duan Lingshan's uncertain words, Jiang Haishan nodded with satisfaction. If Duan Lingtian agreed directly, he felt that Duan Lingtian was not calm enough. Brother Dongchuan. At this time, Jiang Haishan looked at Hong Dongchuan and said solemnly, "Don't talk about little brother Duan entering the 9th level of the Tao for the time being. This time, he will become our Jianglan Divine Kingdom. Fight for the Hedao Monument with Kuhai Temple, the absolute trump card in the entrance duel." "I see." Hong Dongchuan nodded. Sensing Jiang Haishan's glance, Duan Lingtian guessed what he wanted to say before he could speak. "Senior, don't worry, I won't reveal that I have made a breakthrough in the future." When Jiang Haishan heard this, wrinkles piled up on his old face, revealing a smile that was uglier than crying. Next, Duan Lingtian returned to Duan Mansion in Chuzhou City, where he continued to accompany his family while continuing to integrate the infinite way left in the memory of old man Wukong. It wasn't until the time was almost up that he went to the royal family of the capital of Jiangzhou, preparing to go to the Kuhai Temple to participate in this entertainment showdown with the member of the royal family who entered the 9th level and 3 others. The last time, the Taoist duel was held within the territory of Jianglan Divine Kingdom. This time, it was the turn of the Bitter Sea Temple. Naturally, Duan Lingtian didn't need to fly by himself when he was on the road. A huge bird flew out from the royal family's side. It was a monster beast with the strength of the 7th level. And this also reminded him of the 9 monsters behind the 9 mysterious entrances that were above the 8th level of the Tao when he was still in the world. "Brother Hong." Out of curiosity, Duan Lingtian couldn't help but ask Hong Dongchuan, which force or powerful person in the world of gods and earth sent the 9-headed monster beast to the 8th level to guard the entrance and exit of the creation chart. However, Hong Dongchuan did not know this either. However, they also suspect that it was the arrangement of the big forces who preserved the parts of the creation chart in the past. Those forces, without exception, are all the top forces in the world of gods and earth. In each force, there are more than 2 or 3 Hedao strong men sitting in command. You must know that in the entire world of gods and earth, the number of powerful Hedao people is also extremely limited. There were 5 people on this trip, except for Hong Dongchuan and the royal family's Jiang Haishan. Duan Lingtian only knew the names of the other 2 through Jiang Haishan's introduction before departure, and was not familiar with them. A middle-aged man and a beautiful woman. The former has majestic eyebrows and a tall figure, while the latter is gorgeously dressed and elegant. It is obvious that they are not ordinary people in Jianglan Divine Kingdom. Chapter 4676. The fastest update to Lingtian Warlord. These 2 people, the middle-aged man's name is Xiao Zhenan, and the beautiful woman's name is Hua Ro. Without exception, they are both beings in the kingdom of God and on the 8th level of Taoism. Of course, in terms of strength, he is still weaker than Hong Dongchuan. After the 2 of them briefly greeted Duan Lingtian, they couldn't help but glance at Duan Lingtian from time to time. They had already heard about this anti-god sword Duan Lingtian, and they also knew that Hong Dongchuan had been defeated by him. However, the 2 were in retreat at the time, so they did not attend the game. Later, although others made wild claims deep down in their hearts, they still had some doubts. Can this Duan Lingtian really defeat Hong Dongchuan? They knew Hong Dongchuan's strength, and he was definitely not a mediocre person. Otherwise, he would not have been recognized as the 3rd strongest person in Jianglan Divine Kingdom in the past, and he would still be ranked above the 2 of them. Before Duan Lingtian appeared, among the top 5 powerful men in Jianglan Divine Kingdom, the first was undoubtedly the one from the royal family who was in the Hedao realm, and the second was Jiang Haishan from the royal family, who had entered the 9th level. The 3rd is Hong Dongchuan. The 4th is Hua Ro. The 5th is Xiao Zhenan. Whether it is Hua Ruo or Xiao Zhenan, this is actually not the first time that they represent Jianglan Divine Kingdom and compete with the Kuhai Temple for the Hedao Monument. With the strength of a 7th level demon beast, he quickly left Jiangzhou and Jianglan Divine Kingdom. The Bitter Sea Temple is just to the west of Jianglan Divine Kingdom. After leaving Jianglan Divine Kingdom, you have entered the scope of the Bitter Sea Temple. Although the area of the Kuhai Temple is not as vast as our Jianglan Divine Kingdom, it is still half as big as Jianglan Divine Kingdom. In fact, if it is said to be a temple, you can also regard it as a divine kingdom, because the Kuhai Temple area, those within cities are protected by the Temple of the Sea of Suffering, and taxes need to be paid layer by layer. After entering the Bitter Sea Temple area, Hong Dongchuan promptly introduced to Duan Lingtian. Of course, there is no royal family or emperor in Kuhai Temple. However, there are leaders like emperors, but they just don't have so many rules. They're about lifelong equality. Even if he is the sacred monk of the Kuhai Temple, the common people in the Kuhai Temple area do not need to salute or anything when they see him. They can even ignore him. And in our Jianglan Kingdom, this would be considered disrespectful. Following Hong Dongquan's words, Duan Lingtian also gained a better understanding of the Kuhai Temple. This is a bit like the so-called equality and freedom in Western countries when he was still on Earth. Behind this equality and freedom, taxes that should be paid still need to be paid. In comparison, Jianglan Divine Kingdom is more like the ancient feudal dynasty of Earth China. Of course, he later traveled to the secular plane, the sacred plane, where a series of countries, whether kingdoms, empires, or empires, were all based on the model of feudal dynasties. The core area of the Bitter Sea Temple is called the Boundless Domain, which is taken from the boundless sea of bitterness. The main temple of the Bitter Sea Temple is within the boundless territory. Our trip is to boundless territory. The boundless territory is surrounded by other areas of the Bitter Sea Temple in the center, like stars over the moon. It is similar to Jiangzhou, where the capital of our Jianglan Divine Kingdom is located. Under Hong Dongquan's introduction, the Bitter Sea Temple became much less mysterious to Duan Lingtian. Although it is a temple, it is actually a country similar to the one in the west of the earth where it used to be. Is the equality of all living beings the purpose of Kuhai Temple? It's just false equality. If we really put the so-called sacred monks of the Sea of Bitter Temple in one place, and the 100,000 civilians of the Sea of Bitter Sea Temple in another place, and choose one of the two, and let the Sea of Bitter Temple decide their life and death, it will still cost 100,000 people. Civilians to die instead of let a holy monk die. In the end, isn't it true that the strong is respected and the strong is supreme? Arriving at the boundless area, the core area of the Bitter Sea Temple, we soon approached the city near the main temple of the Bitter Sea Temple. Unlike the royal family of the Jianglan Divine Kingdom, which stands in the capital, the main temple of the Kuhai Temple is independent among the mountains. There is a city outside the mountains, which is also the largest and most prosperous city in the Kuhai Temple, called Bitterness Sea Temple City. As soon as Duan Lingtian and others arrived, someone from the Kuhai Temple was responsible for welcoming them into the Kuhai Temple City. The prosperity of the Temple City is comparable to that of the capital of Jianglan Divine Kingdom. Duan Lingtian and his party were arranged in an independent mansion that had obviously just been cleaned. Everyone had a comfortable independent courtyard. The Dao duel is scheduled for 3 days from now. It will be done internally and not publicly available. The confrontation between Jianglan Divine Kingdom and Kuhai Temple has always been conducted in private and has not been widely publicized. Because of this, if the royal family had not found Duan Lingtian, even though Duan Lingtian had stayed in Jianglan Divine Kingdom for a while and became famous everywhere, he would not have known about the existence of this Enter-Dao duel. Duan Lingtian didn't stay in the small courtyard for long before he walked out bored. Of course, what he wanted more was to experience some of the customs of this Bitter Sea Temple City. When he entered the city, he felt that it was different here. Many things and aspects had some Buddhist overtones. Everywhere on the street a man wearing a monk's robe can be seen. There were also some ascetics who knelt down and worshipped all the way out of the city. They took 3 steps to kneel down, worship and kowtow, and walk towards the outside of the city. When entering the city, Hong Dongchuan told Duan Lingtian that the direction in which these ascetics were kneeling was exactly where the main temple of Kuhai Temple was. They would also start from the temple city and kneel all the way to the main temple to show there the devotion to Buddha remains the same. As Duan Lingtian walked through the streets and alleys of the temple city, the sound that came to his ears the most was the sound of Buddha coming from the Buddhist instruments. he relaxed his mind, and in the baptism of the Buddha's sound, his whole person seemed to be greatly relaxed. This feeling is very comfortable. I haven't experienced it in a long time. In the past, when he was still in the land of 10,000 realms and outside the boundary, he stepped into the 7th level of the strongest. He thought that he and his master would be the only two strongest 7th levels in the world in the future. In this case, it's totally possible to retire and enjoy life. Cultivation is just fun. Unexpectedly, the situation suddenly changed, and the words of heaven came, opening a shortcut to the 7th level of the most powerful for other world leaders and saints. With the emergence of new 7th level heroes one after another, his idea of retirement naturally came to nothing. Later, he became the first most powerful 8th level being in all realms, and even in the realm of the gods. I thought that as long as I kept walking, I would be able to look down on all living beings, but I didn't expect that the divine earth world would appear. The 8th level of the strongest, in the world of gods and earth, is the 8th level of the Tao. Although it is considered a relatively top powerhouse, there is a harmony realm above the Tao, which shocks him and makes him yearn for it. Now, he has reached the end of the path. The next step is to attack Hadao. When he steps into Hadao, his strength is equivalent to reaching the level of the heavenly way in the world outside the world. Chapter 4677. Duan Lingtian was walking in the temple city, his whole body in a state of relaxation, very relaxed. It was during this process that he once again inexplicably entered a state similar to enlightenment. During this process, the infinite path in the memory of old man Wukong was quickly integrated by him and turned into his own use. The infinite way has officially entered the 8th level. At this moment, the 3rd of the 10,000 ways Duan Lingtian mastered, the 9th level of swordsmanship, the way of control, and the way of infinity have all reached the 8th level. Not to mention the contemporary Jianglan Divine Kingdom, even the contemporary Bitter Sea Temple where he is now, can find there is no one as special as him who has entered the 9th level. However, at this time, Duan Lingtian's enlightenment was not over yet. Walking in the temple city, listening to the continuous sound of Buddha, Duan Lingtian felt empty, and his soul seemed to be washed and sublimated. Based on the 10,000 ways he now mastered, he seemed to have seen a brand new path, which seemed to be very suitable for him. Go ahead. Duan Lingtian worked hard to move forward. When he first set foot on this road, he also recovered from the mysterious state of enlightenment. Originally the soul was wandering in the sky, but in an instant the wandering soul returned to the body. Is that the path to harmony? After waking up, Duan Lingtian recalled the scene just now inside. Although he set foot on that road at the same time as he set foot on it, he also inexplicably got out of that wonderful state and came back to his senses. He had a very strong feeling. If he had continued to take a few steps forward in the state he was in just now, he might be able to find his own path to harmony. If he could get out of it, the harmony realm would be within easy reach for him. Pity. Just a little bit. He smiled bitterly and shook his head, but Duan Lingtian quickly calmed down, perhaps because walking in this temple city and the various atmospheres in the temple city made him calm down quickly. This was the first time in his life that he came to such a special city. The temple city is not the most prosperous city he has ever visited, and it is not even ranked among the cities he has visited in the past in terms of prosperity, but it is definitely the only one that can bring special cleansing and sublimation to his heart and soul. Wonderful city. When Duan Lingtian was visiting the temple city, in the main temple of Kuhai Temple, the 9th level monk did not show up, but the other 3 people who were going to participate in the duel with Jianglan Divine Kingdom had already gathered together to study this time. People from the other side of the country. Over at Jianglan Divine Kingdom, a new face came this time. Could it be that he broke the rules and went to find foreign aid? A bald man wearing a robe with lightning eyes said with a low voice, "If that's the case, they have broken the rules. That person is not included in the foreign aid that Jianglan Divine Kingdom is looking for." Another young man, dressed as a scholar and holding a folding fan, was sitting there leisurely with his legs crossed. That man's name is Duan Lingtian, and his nickname is Inverse Divine Sword. He is a very popular figure in Jianglan Divine Kingdom some time ago. An existence that defeated Hong Dongchuan, the prison-suppressing sword of Jianglan Divine Kingdom. I also paid attention to him before. I heard that he left Jianglan Divine Kingdom. I thought that even if the royal family of Jianglan Divine Kingdom wanted to invite him, there would be no chance. But I didn't expect that at the critical moment, he would still come on behalf of Jianglan Divine Kingdom. I am also the one who arranged some spies on the side of Jianglan Divine Kingdom. Otherwise, I am afraid that no one on our side will know his identity when the Dao duel begins. The young scholar continued to speak, explaining Duan Lingshan's identity and origin. It actually comes from the creation life chart world? The last skinny white-haired old man holding a cane suddenly lit up his cloudy eyes. Then I want to have a good fight with him and see what he can do. So what if we defeat Hong Dongchuan? If I were to face that Hong Dongchuan, even if we are both on the 8th level, I would definitely defeat him within 10 moves. The old man's words were full of arrogance. This time, Jianglan Divine Kingdom just felt that you were here, so they were unsure and invited Ling Tian. It's a pity that they tried their best to calculate, but they couldn't calculate it. There was another incident in the temple. A person has entered the 9th level. The bald man chuckled. Yes, they think that the boss is our trump card this time. Who knows, our trump card this time is not only the boss, but also the new monk in the temple. The young scholar also smiled and flapped his folding fan gently, looking cool and casual. In the Kuhai temple, only those who have entered the 9th level or above can be called divine monks. Normally, every time a divine monk appears in the Kuhai temple, it needs to be widely advertised and the news spreads throughout the Kuhai temple. However, for this time's Enter Dao duel, Kuhai temple deliberately concealed the news, thinking that in this way, they could use the newly promoted divine monks as their trump card to overwhelm Jianglan Divine Kingdom in the Dao entrance duel and win the title. Take the remaining piece of Hedao monument from Jianglan Divine Kingdom. If you get the Hedao stele from Jianglan Divine Kingdom this time, the number of Hedao stele in Kuhai Temple will increase to 3, while Jianglan Divine Kingdom will have no more Hedao stele. Under this situation, unless Jianglan Divine Kingdom can obtain the Hedao monument through other means, it will be destined to be ineligible to challenge Kuhai Temple and initiate a Dao duel in the future. If you don't even have a bet, who will play with you? Get out. In the blink of an eye, it was the day of the duel between Jianglan Divine Kingdom and Kuhai Temple. Early in the morning, Duan Ling Tian met Jiang Haishan and Hong Dongchuan. The Dao duel between Jianglan Divine Kingdom and Kuhai Temple was not held within the temple city, but in a secluded place in the boundless area. In the past, when the Dao duel was held at Kuhai Temple, they always went to that place. That secluded place was deep in a series of mountains. Even if a 7th level monster is flying, it will take a full 2 hours from the time it enters the mountains to reach its destination. After Duan Ling Tian and others arrived at their destination, they found that the people from Kuhai Temple had already arrived first. 5 figures stood there, watching them from a distance. Go ahead. After Jiang Haishan let the birds and monsters leave, he led Duan Ling Tian and others to greet them. At the same time, he said hello to the middle-aged monk wearing black cassocks who was the leader of the 5. Monk Yuhao, I haven't seen you for many years. Your style is still the same. Prince Haishan, you haven't changed at all. The middle-aged monk responded with a smile, and it was obvious that he was quite familiar with Jiang Haishan in his words. Although this was the first time Duan Ling Tian met this middle-aged monk, he had already heard about him before coming here. Monk Yuhao. He is also the strongest person under the Hedao realm expert from Kuhai Temple, the only one in the Bitter Sea Temple who has entered the 9th level. It is as famous as Jianghai Mountain of the royal family of Jianglan Divine Kingdom. Chapter 4678. After saying hello to Jiang Haishan, Divine Monk Yuhao looked at Duan Ling Tian and asked with a smile, "This is a bit unfamiliar. Lord Haishan, why don't you introduce me? This is our new strong man from Jianglan Divine Kingdom, little brother Duan Ling Tian." Jiang Haishan said with a smile, and then introduced him to Duan Ling Tian. Duan Ling Tian glanced at the other party, nodded, and said hello in a neutral tone. After all, he was not here to make friends, but to help Jianglan Divine Kingdom compete for the Hedao Monument. I know all the other three. Let me introduce to little brother Duan Lingtian the other 4 people participating in the Dao duel in our Kuhai temple. As Monk Yuhao introduced to Duan Lingtian also knew the names of the other 4 people from the Kuhai temple. At this time, he also heard a message from Hong Dongchuan, saying that the skinny old man holding a cane was the one who belonged to the Kuhai temple this time. The trump card is someone stronger than him, known as Old Man. Prince Haishan, shall we start directly? Monk Yuhao asked with a smile. Before today, the 2 parties had actually met, and both had seen other bets offered by the other party besides the Hedao Monument. Today, the main thing is to enter the Dao duel, and the rest has already been arranged. Good. Jiang Haishan nodded. Originally, he came out this time to confront the disciples of Kuhai Temple. The fight for the Hedao Monument was the first priority. Naturally, it would be better to fight quickly. Then let's get started. Divine Monk Yuhao nodded, and then looked at the bald man wearing black robes over him. Tui, let you take the lead. Yes, holy monk. The bald man Tui looked extremely honest in front of Divine Monk Yuhao, but when he came off the stage, his face was full of unruly. He looked at the other 4 people from Jianglan Divine Kingdom, except Jiang Haishan, and finally staring at Duan Lingtian. Young pretty boy, do you want to go out and play with me first? Tui, who used to be a monk at the Kuhai Temple, later returned to lay life and founded his own power, and is now the overlord of the Kuhai Temple. A person with considerable strength who has entered the 8th level. According to Hong Dongchuan, Tui's strength is not much weaker than him. Now, Tui's provocation to Duan Lingtian is naturally just a smokescreen, because he knows that Duan Lingtian is stronger than him and is Jianglan Divine Kingdom's trump card this time. Even if they are both on the 8th level, they are probably on their side. Duel between elders. He was sure that Duan Lingtian would not end so early, so he opened his mouth to provoke him like this. Laugh. Before Duan Lingtian could speak, Hong Dongchuan had already sneered. Tui, you are overestimating your abilities. You alone are not qualified to let me, Brother Lingtian, take action. In his opinion, with the current strength of his Lingtian brother, he could crush Tui to death with one finger. This Tui is so arrogant. Hong Dongchuan, you said that. Is it possible that this person is stronger than you? Takuno asked, pretending to be surprised. That's natural. Hong Dongchuan said calmly. I'd better do it first. On the side of Jianglan Divine Kingdom, Hua Ruo was the first to leave, looked directly at Tuo Yi and said lightly, Tuo Yi, last time, I was defeated by you by just a hair. This time I, Hua Ruo, want to avenge my shame. Tui's eyes fell on Hua Ruo and sneered, Hua Ruo, you dare to say this, it seems that you have made some progress in these thousands of years. However, you are not so naive as to think that after thousands of years, you Hua Ruo is the only one. Can there be progress? I hope your little cherry mouth can match your strength. As soon as the words fell, Tui took action. The sword light was raging and he beheaded Xiang Huaro. Facing Tui's offensive, Huaruo's power, which had been prepared for a long time, swept out in an instant. The rules of the Dao duel are actually very simple. There is one player on one side, and the loser gets off the field. The winner can choose to get off the field, or he can stay on the field and wait for the opponent's next person to get off the field. Theoretically, if one side has the strength to overwhelm the opponent's 5 strong men, it can completely accept the opponent's will battle, kill through the opponent's camp, and directly win the final victory. The other 4 people on the side can paddle without even taking action. Boom. In the field, the battle was fierce. Tui is good at the art of swords, while Huarua is good at a kind of art that Duan Lingtian has never seen before, flower art. I saw her take action, and her power spread out, like a goddess scattering flowers. It was very beautiful, but underneath the beauty, there was hidden murderous intent. She defied Tui's strong attacks time and time again, even after dozens of Mavases if overwhelming Takuno. In the end, Huarua managed to defeat Tuo Yi with minor injuries. Tui spat out a large mouthful of blood and was even more seriously injured. His face was pale and his eyes were full of unwillingness. He never expected that he would be defeated by this former defeated general. Your Majesty, I guess I won't be able to continue the next duel. Hua Ruo, who had won the victory, looked at Jiang Haishan and said apologetically. Jiang Haishan smiled and said, "It doesn't matter, you won a game and achieved your first victory, which is already a great achievement. Congratulations to the Emperor Haishan. Jianglan Divine Kingdom is truly a hidden dragon and a crouching tiger." Divine Monk Yuhao saw that his side was defeated, but he still smiled, as if he was not worried that his side would lose at all. Of course, it may also be because he felt that Kuhai Temple could afford to lose, so he did not care about winning or losing in this game. After all, Kuhai Temple now has 2 Hadao tablets in hand. There is only one piece of Jianglan Divine Kingdom. The two situations are completely different. Xiao Zhenan, are you here to fight me? The scholar holding the mountain ended up. His name was Han Zheng. He was the leader of a large organization in the Kuhai Temple. He was neither a sect nor a family. He was engaged in many aspects of business, including but not limited to taking on the killer business. Intelligence business. Although I'm not sure, I still have to go all out for this one. Xiao Zhenan came off the stage and looked at Han Zheng. The two of them were old acquaintances. Next, the two of them fought. In less than 30 moves, Xiao Zhenan was defeated by Han Zheng, but Han Zheng was unscathed and could still fight again. Follow closely. Hong Dongchuan ends. He narrowly defeated Han Zheng, but he was also injured and could no longer fight. At this point, Jianglan Divine Kingdom fell into a disadvantage. In Jianglan Divine Kingdom, only Duan Lingtian and Jiang Haishan are left to fight. As for the Bitter Sea Temple, there are still 3 people left to fight. A figure entered the scene. It was the white-haired old man holding a cane. The old man had a thin face, and his originally cloudy eyes shot out a cold light. He looked at Duan Lingtian and said in a calm tone, "I heard that you, Duan Lingtian, once easily defeated Hong Dongchuan. Today, let me, my boss, teach you your methods." Duan Lingtian raised his eyebrows when he heard this, but did not make any move. A figure entered the scene. In addition to Duan Lingtian and Hong Dongchuan, the entire audience was shocked, including Xiao Zhenan and Hua Ruo from Jianglan Divine Kingdom. Just because the person who ended up was none other than Jiang Haishan. This is the 9th level of the Jianglan Divine Kingdom. Chapter 4679. Except for Jiang Haishan himself, Duan Lingtian and Hong Dongchuan, no one expected Jiang Haishan to end at this time. They all felt that Jiang Haishan, as the strongest 9-level entrant in Jianglan Divine Kingdom, should not end up now. Is it possible that the Emperor knows that Duan Lingtian is not this old opponent? So, do you think there is no need for him to end? In Jianglan Divine Kingdom, both Xiao Zhenan and Hua Ruo think so now. Over at the Kuhai Temple, several people led by Divine Monk Yuhao are actually confused now. What's happening here? Why did Jiang Haishan end up entering the 9th level and ending up so quickly? The old man holding the crutch couldn't help but frown at this time, and then his eyes fell on Duan Lingtian like lightning, and he said in a deep voice, "Duan Lingtian, you think you are no match for me, so you are dismissed. Courage is there's none?" Although his strength is considered relatively strong among the 8th level, he still thinks that he cannot compare with the 9th level. With Jiang Haishan at his end, he could only admit defeat and there was no need to take action. When Duan Lingtian heard the boss calling him, his eyes turned to him, and he smiled lightly and said, "If you feel this way, that's fine. Just be happy." Hearing this, the old man's face darkened. What else? Is it possible that you can be stronger than Prince Jiang Haishan? Guessed it right, but there's no prize. Duan Lingtian glanced at the elder in surprise, but he didn't expect that the other party was not stupid enough to guess this. As Duan Lingtian finished speaking, Turi, the black-robed and bald man at the Kuhai Temple, couldn't help but laugh out loud. "Duan Lingtian, what are you pretending to be here? Do you really think that we don't know your details? Some time ago, didn't you just compete with Hong Dongchuan in Jianglan Divine Kingdom and beat him? Your strength is pretty good at the 8th level of the Dao, But if you want to compare with me, you're not up to par. You don't dare to end now. Don't you have self-awareness and know that you are not an old opponent? When the words fell, Tui's face was filled with a sarcastic smile. Duan Lingtian smiled, his eyes falling on Tui with disdain. They say ugly people tend to make mischief. In my opinion, losers also like to talk too much. One sentence made Tuyi furious and angrily asked, "Who do you think is a waste?" "Talking to you." Duan Lingtian smiled. "Otherwise, who do you think you are talking about?" "You dash." Tui was so angry that his lungs almost exploded. He could imagine that Duan Lingtian was stronger than him, so in the end he could only suppress the anger in his heart. His body was shaking violently, but he did not dare to take action. At this time, Divine Monk Yuhao came to his rescue. "Tui, how Jianglan Divine Kingdom arranges it is Jianglan Divine Kingdom's business, and neither you nor the elder should have any say in it." After he finished speaking, he looked at the old man with a cane and said, "Boss, since Emperor Jiang Haishan is going to die personally, you should just admit defeat." "Yes, holy monk." The old man on crutches responded respectfully, and then retreated. He had no intention of fighting by Haishan because fighting was just looking for abuse, and there was no way to help the two people behind to consume by Haishan's strength because the gap was too big. Just when everyone in Jianglan Divine Kingdom, including Duan Lingtian, thought that at Kohai Temple, Divine Monk Yuhao would end up in person. But he didn't expect that he would not end up. But another monk ended up. "Prince Haishan, let this young monk learn your clever tricks." The one who is going to die now is none other than another middle-aged monk who has been standing behind the Divine Monk Yuhao and has no sense of presence. Duan Lingtian also just came from Hong Dongchuan, learned from his mouth that the other party was a member of the main temple of Kohai Temple. A strong person who has entered the 8th level. According to Hong Dongchuan, in terms of strength, he should be slightly inferior to Lao Lao. But now, he has stood up. For a moment, not only Duan Lingtian was a little surprised, but even other people in Jianglan Divine Kingdom were also shocked. Jiang Haishan's pupils shrank slightly, and he took a deep look at the middle-aged monk in front of him. "It seems that now I should call you Bai Yen Divine Monk." He naturally knew this monk named Bai Yen. The duel 1,000 years ago was only at the 8th level of the Tao. His strength was comparable to Hong Dongquan's, and the two ended in a draw. Thousands of years later, he came down again and faced him. Where does the courage come from? Even the boss, who he originally thought was stronger than Bai Yen, backed down when facing him, but he ended up. What does it mean? It means that he must have entered the 9th level of the Tao. "Monk Yuhao, your Kohai Temple is really keeping things secret. First there was an old man, and then there was the Bai Yen Divine Monk." Jiang Haishan looked at Divine Monk Yuhao and sighed with a complicated expression. If Duan Lingtian had not entered the 9th level, even if Duan Lingtian took action this time, their Jianglan Divine Kingdom would definitely be defeated. Fortunately, Duan Lingtian has already entered the 9th level and is stronger than him. Therefore, this time their Jianglan Kingdom is still stable. During the battle between Jiang Haishan and Bai Yen Divine Monk, Duan Lingtian and others watched from a distance. The fight caused the mountains to collapse and the earth to crack. The terrifying power of entering the 9th level of the Tao, combined with the Tao they mastered, was extremely powerful. Every time an offensive was launched, the sky was blocked and the sun was blocked. Momentum force. So hard? Do you want to hurt Jiang Haishan? Soon, Duan Lingtian saw the clues. Although the Bai Yen Divine Monk and Jiang Haishan were both at the 9th level, their strength was obviously inferior and he could not be Jiang Haishan's opponent. And even under this situation, he still had a desperate style of play, which greatly increased the pressure on Jiang Haishan. In the end, he was defeated by Jiang Haishan, but Jiang Haishan was also injured. He spurted 3 big mouthfuls of blood, and his breath became weak. On the other hand, the Bai Yen Divine Monk was even worse. His sternum was sunken, his face was pale, and he was covered in blood. His body was shaky, as if he might collapse at any time. If Divine Monk Yuhao hadn't admitted defeat, his life would have been in danger if the fight continued. Monk Bai Yen is really hard-working. Jiang Haishan wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, glanced at the Bai Yen monk who was supported by Han Zheng and Tui, and smiled coldly. "I'm not as good as Emperor Haishan." Although the White Rock priest's face was covered with blood, he still had a smile on his face, which was so creepy that it made people stand on end. "Prince Haishan, it's our turn." Divine Monk Yuhao had no intention of letting Jiang Haishan rest and left the game directly. At this moment, everyone present at the Kuhai Temple, including Monk Yuhao himself, felt that this time the Enter Dao showdown was stable and their Kuhai Temple would win again. After hearing what Monk Yuhao said, Jiang Haishan shook his head and smiled, then retreated away from the battle. "Monk Yuhao, your opponent is not me." Almost at the moment Jiang Haishan finished speaking, a purple figure, Feng Su, came from the wind and entered the battle, confronting Monk Yuhao with calm eyes. "And stand." Chapter 4680. Divine Monk Yuhao was dressed in a black monk's robe that moved with the wind. His benevolent brows revealed a bit of majesty, but at the moment he was staring at the young man in purple who was confronting him, and he couldn't help but have a look of astonishment on his face. Just because this was a scene he never expected. He originally thought that the anti-divine sword Duan Lingtian, who had caused quite a storm in Jianglan Divine Kingdom some time ago, was an 8th-level existence more powerful than Hong Dongchuan. The trump card he found this time, Lao Lao, was enough to easily deal with it. When Lao Lao came off the field and prepared to fight him, but he didn't come off, he just thought it was because he was not sure of defeating Lao Lao. "But I didn't expect that the other party would end at this time. Although being the boss is his trump card, it is only the first small trump card. The biggest trump card is the second person who has been promoted to the 9th level of the main temple of Kuhai Temple, that is, the White Rock Divine Monk. Jiang Haishan's strength is not weak. Even though he was lucky enough to defeat Jiang Haishan 1,000 years ago, he doesn't think he can safely defeat Jiang Haishan this time. Because, over the millennia, his improvement has been minimal. Therefore, he planned to let Divine Monk Bai Yin use all his strength to injure Jiang Haishan, so that Jiang Haishan would not pose a threat to him. Now, Bai Yin Divine Monk has lived up to expectations and wounded Jiang Haishan. He had already expected that in the next scene, either Jiang Haishan would admit defeat, or he would defeat the injured Jiang Haishan. However, he never expected that when Jiang Haishan gave up the fight with him, Duan Lingtian from Jianglan Divine Kingdom, who he thought had given up, would end up facing him. At this moment, an ominous premonition arose in his heart. How can this be? You actually let him face Monk Yuhao? At this moment, not only Divine Monk Yuhao himself, but also the other 4 people at the Kuhai Temple were looking at Duan Lingtian with shock and suspicion, and waves of turmoil arose in their hearts. Even Xiao Zhenan and Hua Ra from Jianglan Divine Kingdom looked horrified at this time. What's happening here? In fact, just now Xiao Zhenan and Hua Ra were very puzzled that Duan Lingtian did not end up fighting against the boss. Until now, their hearts were shaken, and a crazy thought vaguely arose. It turns out that this piece of Lingtian wasn't a trump card used by Emperor Jiang Haishan to deal with the elders at the Kuhai Temple? Is it used to deal with Divine Monk Yuhao? It's just that I'm blind. Divine Monk Yuhao took a deep look at Duan Lingtian and said, "It seems that your anti-sword sword has entered the 9th level of the Tao in recent days." As soon as he opened his mouth, he called Duan Lingtian by his name. It was obvious that he already knew about Duan Lingshan's existence. "Please give me some advice from the holy monk." Duan Lingtian smiled indifferently, his eyes were calm and unruffled. On the other hand, Jiang Haishan, although he was injured and looked slightly pale, there was a smile on his lips. Prince Haishan is very confident. Is it possible that the strength of this anti-sword sword after he enters the 9th level of the Tao will put even you, Emperor Haishan, to shame? Divine Monk Yuhao saw the smile on Jiang Haishan's lips, looked at him deeply, and asked tentatively. Jiang Haishan shook his head and smiled. "Monk Yuhao, you don't need to test me. How strong is Duan Lingtian? You'll know if you try it?" But secretly slandering in my heart. Fortunately, it was just a discussion. Otherwise, you will die if you try. Then let me learn how to use the anti-god sword. Divine Monk Yuhao let out a soft drink, and the black monk's robes on his body shook, and the power that had been prepared for a long time was released. In the blink of an eye, the whole person continued to grow and collide, and finally turned into a giant as towering as a mountain. This is also the path that Monk Yuhao majors in, the Path of Giants. This kind of Tao, Yuhao Divine Monk has already understood the 9th level, and it is with the help of the giant Tao that he has entered the 9th level of the Tao. Boom. After the body of Divine Monk Yuhao grew larger, the power in his body vibrated and spread out, seemingly endlessly. The infinite way. Moreover, it is the infinite path of the 7th level. Duan Lingtian is very familiar with this kind of aura. Not only that, after the infinite way appeared, the power in the hands of Divine Monk Yuhao condensed into a long stick like the Dinghai Divine Needle. There was a faint halo flowing around the long stick, exuding a rich and domineering aura. This is also the 3rd way mastered by Divine Monk Yuhao. Stick Road. Moreover, he has already realized the 6th level. There was a loud noise, and Divine Monk Yuhao took the lead to take action. His momentum was like a rainbow, and he rushed out in the void. The figure that covered the sky and the sun rushed towards Duan Lingtian with a mighty momentum. The long stick in his hand vibrated, and there was a continuous sound of explosions. Fear the aftermath of its power rages across all directions. His move immediately made the onlookers present except Jiang Haishan look solemn, and they all gathered their strength to resist the aftermath of the attack. After all, this is a super strong person who has entered the 9th level. If you can't get along, the experts at this level are the most tyrannical. And the other side. Facing the menacing Divine Monk Yuhao, Duan Lingtian looked calm and raised his hand casually. In an instant, the power from the 9th level of the Tao roared into the sky, and soon condensed into a giant sword in the sky. The power around the giant sword vibrated endlessly, giving people a feeling that it was more majestic than the infinite power of the Monk Yuhao. This piece of Lingshan's infinite way is stronger than the 7th level infinite way of Monk Yuhao. Several people at the Bitter Sea Temple were shocked. And as Duan Lingshan's condensed giant sword of the sky fell, the void shook again, as if a faint shadow could be vaguely seen, as if it could control all things, pushing the giant sword to crush it and fall, facing the menacing attack. Monk Yuhao, call out. The giant sword of the sky crashed down and collided with the giant stick in the hand of the Monk Yuhao. After a brief stalemate, waves of terrifying power erupted and raged, creating endless winds. With a loud noise, the giant sword in the sky was vibrating with an indomitable momentum, as if it was invincible. The pressure made the face of the Divine Monk Yuhao change greatly, and then turned pale. Then the giant stick in his hand was crushed and shattered, and the whole sword was crushed. People were also blown away. Wow! Divine Monk Yuhao flew out upside down, opened his mouth and spat out a mouthful of rich blood. Halfway through, his huge body no longer appeared, replaced by his original normal figure. Apparently 3 of them were broken by Duan Lingshan's sword. In the duel at the 9th level of the Tao, 1 sword shattered 3 Tao. Complete crushing. Different from the injured and embarrassed Monk Yuhao, on the other side, a young man in purple stood there, holding a slightly dim sky sword, his face unchanged, his eyes indifferent, as if he had just done something insignificant. This level of disparity in strength does not apply to others. Even Jiang Haishan and Hong Dongchuan, who knew that Duan Lingtian was very powerful, couldn't help but gasp. His strength has become stronger again. Chapter 4681. Duan Lingtian took action and wounded and defeated Divine Monk Yuhao with just 1 sword strike. While Hong Dongchuan and Jiang Haishan were also frightened, the other onlookers were stunned for a while and could not recover for a long time. They never dreamed that Duan Lingtian would have such terrifying strength. Especially the old man on crutches. After he came to his senses, his old face couldn't help but twitch sharply. Thinking of his previous arrogance, he wanted to dig a hole and hide in it. How could he be so strong? Tui, a bald and strong man in black robe, looked at Han Zheng, who was holding a folding fan. His eyes were full of confusion. At the same time, he asked through a voice transmission, "Han Zheng, didn't you say that you found him out clearly? This is what you call clear out." Chu. The corner of Han Zheng's mouth twitched and he said helplessly, "He hid it too deeply. Don't you think that in Jianglan Divine Kingdom, except for Jiang Haishan and Hong Dongchuan, the other two people don't know that he is a Taoist? Ninth floor? Look at Jiang with the current expressions on Haishan and Hong Dongchuan. They probably didn't expect Duan Lingtian to have such terrifying strength. Perhaps, in their eyes, Duan Lingtian is only slightly stronger than Divine Monk Yuhao. Now that he defeated Divine Monk Yuhao with one sword, he obviously shocked them." The Baiyan Divine Monk did not speak, but his eyes towards Duan Lingtian were full of complexity. He never expected that this time the Kuhai Temple, had two trump cards, but in the end they lost to the only one from the Jianglan Divine Kingdom. A trump card? Your Jianglan Kingdom is hidden too deep. Han Zheng looked at Duan Lingtian and said with a wry smile, "With the strength of this anti-god sword, if he is the first to die, he may be able to kill the five of us with his own strength." At this time, Xiao Zhenan and Hua Ra from Jianglan Divine Kingdom also came back to their senses. When they looked at Duan Lingtian, their previous calmness was no longer there, replaced by horror and respect. After this battle, this Nishenjian will become the first person under the Hadao realm of Jianglan Divine Kingdom. It won't be long before his name will spread throughout the world of gods and earth. Although there are many powerful people in the Hadao realm in the world of gods and earth, there are only a few dozen people in the world of gods and earth. It is quite famous in the area. Just like Divine Monk Yuhao of Kuhai Temple and Jiang Haishan of Jianglan Divine Kingdom, they are both powerful practitioners who are famous in the world of gods and earth. Anyone in the world of gods and earth who pays attention to the top experts in the Tao knows about their existence. Prince Haishan, this time our Kuhai Temple is convinced of our defeat. Divine Monk Yuhao finally regained his breath, glanced at Duan Lingtian fearfully, and then looked at Jiang Haishan, his face full of bitterness and helplessness. "I thought I could capture another Hadao monument from your Jianglan Divine Kingdom this time, but I didn't expect it. Something unexpected happened. This defeat was something I never expected, and it was also something none of us here expected. Your Jianglan Divine Kingdom really has a dark horse." Different from the helplessness of Divine Monk Yuhao, Jiang Haishan had a bright smile on his face, but he still said modestly, "Monk Yuhao, previously I thought I would definitely lose this time. Fortunately, my brother Hong introduced brother Ling Tian. This allowed our Jianglan Divine Kingdom to make a comeback." "Accepted." Seeing the pride on Jiang Haishan's face, Divine Monk Yuhao had the urge to punch him. At the same time, he felt helpless and puzzled. 8,000 years later, if Duan Lingtian still represents Jianglan Divine Kingdom in the Dao Duel, what should they do in Kuhai Temple? Although he was defeated, Divine Monk Yuhao's enthusiasm as the host remained undiminished, and he invited Duan Lingtian and others to the main temple of Kuhai Temple as guests. Duan Lingtian also knew that this had been a past practice, and after entering the Dao Duel, he would have the opportunity to directly facing the Hadao strongman of the force that hosted the Dao Duel listen to his sermon. Thousands of years ago, the Taoist duel in Jianglan Divine Kingdom was defeated, and the people from Kuhai Temple still stayed there as guests, listening to the sermons of the powerful Taoist from the royal family of Jianglan Divine Kingdom. Duan Lingtian couldn't help but look forward to it. In the previous epiphany when he was walking in the temple city of Kuhai Temple, his infinite way almost rushed directly into the 9th floor, and successfully combined with his sword way. It's just a small step away. The path to infinity is still only infinitely close to the 9th level and has not yet been entered. Once he steps in, he is sure that with the feeling left over from his previous enlightenment, he should be able to quickly take the next step, successfully combine the Tao, and master the infinite sword Tao. Which two kinds of Tao does the strong Taoist in Kuhai Temple combine? When following the people from Kuhai Temple to the main temple of Kuhai Temple, Duan Lingtian couldn't help but send a message to ask Jiang Haishan. Jiang Haishan immediately sent a message and responded, The strong man who combines the Tao is the Sanskrit Tao and the infinite Tao. Hearing this, Duan Lingtian suddenly became excited. Fanning said that this was the first time he heard it and he didn't feel anything at all. But the infinite way is what he has mastered now. Except for the way of swordsmanship, the latecomers are on top and are about to enter the 9th level of the way. If this time, through the sermon of the powerful Hadao man from Kuhai Temple, my infinite path can reach the 9th level. This Bitter Sea Temple is definitely my blessed place. Duan Lingtian said secretly. As for why once he successfully breaks through the infinite way this time, he will no longer help Jianglan Divine Kingdom to deal with Kuhai Temple in the Dao duel in 1,000 years, but he has never thought about it. Just because he never thought that he would still be a Taoist after 1,000 years. However, Duan Lingtian didn't think so, but someone reminded him. The message from Divine Monk Yuhao came, Brother Lingen, if you no longer participate in the Dao duel between our Kuhai Temple and Jianglan Divine Kingdom after 1,000 years, we here at Kuhai Temple can grant you a request within our ability. He felt Duan Lingshan's strength personally. Even in 1,000 years, he doesn't think he can be his opponent. As for the Baiyan Divine Monk, he is not even as good as him, let alone compared with Duan Lingtian. Hearing this message, Duan Lingtian was stunned for a moment, and then he was overjoyed. Didn't you come to give him a pillow just after he fell asleep? I've thought about it, and I'll give you an answer before I leave the Kuhai Temple. Duan Lingtian responded. He had thought about it, and he must agree to it, because he didn't think that he would still be just a small initiate in 1,000 years. As for why he doesn't agree now, it's because he hasn't thought of any conditions yet. Let's first see if the sermon of the strong man from the Sea of Bitter Sea Temple's Hadao realm can help him take the infinite path a step further and step into the 9th level. Now, he has 2 plans in mind. It all depends on whether the infinite way can go further after the other party preaches. Chapter 4682. Soon, under the leadership of Divine Monk Yuhao, Duan Lingtian and others went to the main temple of Kuhai Temple and saw the Hadao realm strongman from Kuhai Temple. This is an old monk with white eyebrows. He is wearing a gray-white cassock. He looks ordinary. He is sitting cross-legged in the ancient and vicissitudes of the Buddhist temple. If you don't use your eyes to see it, but just use your spiritual sense to scan out, it will be difficult to find him. He was sitting there with his eyes closed and meditating. Grandmaster, the guests have arrived. Monk Yuhao bowed respectfully. Jiang Haishan brought 4 members of the Jianglan Divine Kingdom into Taoism and met the Yongye Divine Monk. Jiang Haishan followed and spoke in a respectful tone. After all, this was a strong man in the Hadao realm who stood at the pinnacle of the world of gods and earth. No matter how strong a master in the Dao realm was, it was not worth mentioning in front of him. Duan Lingtian is considered to be strong. He has entered the 9th level of Taoism and has understood the 3 kinds of Tao very well. But if he were to face the Yongye Divine Monk, he would not be able to resist even a single blow from the Yongye Divine Monk. He would be disabled even if he was not dead. I've seen the Eternal Night Monk. At this time, both Duan Lingtian and Hong Dongchuan and the other 4 people from Jianglan Divine Kingdom, as well as the other 3 people from Kuhai Temple except Baiyan Divine Monk, all looked at Yongyi with awe. Divine Monk. The Eternal Night Monk is not only the most powerful person in the Kuhai Temple, but also the belief of the people in the Kuhai Temple. His status in their eyes is so high that no one can replace him. Even though he is an old man with a cane, the reason why he is willing to represent the Bitter Sea Temple in the Dao showdown with Jianglan Divine Kingdom after appearing in seclusion for many years is because he knows that no matter he wins or loses, he will have the opportunity to hear this. A sermon. Duan Lingtian looked at the white-browed old monk in front of him. This was also the first time in his life that he had seen a strong man in the Hadao realm who had surpassed the 9th level of Dao. You must know that in all the worlds he was in before, and even in the places outside the world, not to mention after the historical separation, even before the historical separation, the most powerful existence that appeared was the 9th level of the Dao. It is not said that anyone can go back to forward take a step forward. Even for the old man Wukong whose memory he merged with, in the eyes of the other party, the only thing beyond the 9th level of the Tao, which is the 7th level of the most powerful, is the Tao of heaven. In the past, the so-called way of heaven in all realms, and even in places outside the realm, was mysterious and unpredictable in his eyes. It wasn't until he came to the world of gods and earth that he realized that the so-called way of heaven was just the rules determined by the strong men in the Hadao realm in the world of gods and earth after they obtained the creation life chart. In other words, the way of heaven is the master of the creation chart. In addition, he has basically figured out one thing. That is, before and after the historical separation of the world and the land outside the world, the so-called way of heaven is actually not controlled by the same person, or it is not the same person. The person in front has cultivated the Tao of taboo life sacrifice to the 9th level, and is only one step away from integrating it into his other already integrated Tao. Once successful, he will become the top being in the world of gods and earth. The three paths merge into one, and he is the sealing powerhouse in the world of gods and earth. Looking at the contemporary world, there are only a handful of such peerless experts. However, later he was besieged, severely injured and died tragically, and the creation life chart was also taken away and divided into several parts. It was at that time that the world in the creation life chart collapsed, and old man Wukong died, desperately trying to survive. Only by protecting it he was able to leave a complete memory in his own place of ruins. And finally it was obtained by Duan Lingtian after the history was cut off. It was not at all what the old man Wukong had guessed. Why was heaven afraid that someone like him would surpass him at the 9th level, so he wanted to kill him? In the creation life chart world, the limit that can be reached by cultivation is the 9th level of the most powerful, which is equivalent to the 9th level of the Tao. It was not until many years later that someone gathered together the parts of the creation chart, reorganized the creation chart, and practiced the forbidden life sacrifice method. Only then did the world in the creation chart reopen from chaos and gradually recover. At the same time, under the influence of God, did the two world catch you? A few people were thrown into the creation horoscope space, where they were allowed to reproduce. And Duan Lingtian is the life that spawned from the group of people from the divine earth world. Not only him, but all the people he knew in the world and beyond were all beings born later. However, the new owner of the creation life chart, who had only reached the 8th level in his cultivation of the taboo of life sacrifice, was caught. He made the same mistake as the old owner of the creation life chart and escaped with serious injuries, but he still managed to escape. Taking away the destroyed creation chart, this is better than the old owner of the creation chart. After all, the old master failed to take away the creation chart. Hello everyone. The Yongye divine monk opened his eyes dimmed, and his whole person looked more and more ordinary, but no one dared to underestimate him. After all, they all knew that he was a strong man in Hadao. I didn't expect that I would have the opportunity to see the existence that came out of the world of creation and destiny. The eyes of Yongye divine monk quickly fell on Duan Lingan. In your body, there is life born in the world of creation and destiny. The breath. Some time ago, although I did not participate in the encirclement and suppression of the new master of the creation life chart, I was when Pan was injured and countless lives fell into the world of gods and earth, he still sensed many strange auras coming into the world. It was precisely because of this that he knew that Duan Lingshan's aura was different from the aborigines of the divine land world, and belonged to the aura of life born in the creation life Pan world. Duan Lingtian asked curiously and soon learned this from the other party. Ancestor. At this time, divine monk Yu Hao smiled bitterly and said, "This time, our Kuhai temple was defeated." When the words fell, his eyes were full of self-blame. The Yongye divine monk's expression remained unchanged. He continued to look at Duan Lingtian and asked in a calm tone, "Is it because of him?" "Yes." Divine monk Yu Hao nodded. "Brother Duan Lingtian is far more powerful than me. Not only has the way of swordsmanship reached the 9th level, but the way of infinity and control have also reached at least the 8th level." As soon as these words came out, the dim eyes of the Yongye divine monk suddenly became brighter. And everyone else, except Jiang Haishan and the white-eyed monk, were all shocked. Even Hong Dongchuan, although he had witnessed Duan Lingtian easily defeat the divine monk Yuhao before, he never expected that Duan Lingtian would take such an amazing step and comprehend the other 2 ways to the 8th level. It was simply outrageous. Doesn't this mean that as long as one of the 2 Tao steps into the 9th level, Duan Lingtian can try to combine it? Once Hadao is successful, another powerful person in the Hadao realm will be born in the world of gods and earth. The lives in the creation world are all descendants of people from the world of gods and earth. Their talents are not bad. However, for you to have come this far, your talents are already top-notch. Hadao, for you in terms of terms, it should not be difficult matter. The Yongye divine monk spoke again, looking at Duan Lingtian with a look that was obviously more friendly. Duan Lingtian cupped his hands and smiled slightly. I hope that your next sermon, the holy monk, will give me more insights and even make me one step further on the infinite path. Chapter 4683. The Yongye divine monk smiled happily. So, I can't hide my secrets in the following sermon. If it can help Duan Lingtian take that step, it will be a good thing for him and the Bitter Sea Temple. This is equivalent to giving Duan Lingtian a favor. Monk Yongye, from what you said, could it be that you were hiding something secret when you preached in the past? Jiang Haishan shook his head and smiled. Just kidding. However, since little friend Duan Lingtian is here today, I will tell you in more detail. I hope it can be of help to you and help you to take a step further. The Yongye divine monk also smiled, and then looked at Duan Lingtian with soft eyes, intent on giving him a favor. Of course, he also knew in his heart that if he sent out this favor, the other party might not be able to receive it. However, he still planned to try. Thank you, divine monk Yongye. Duan Lingtian thanked him profusely. Ever since Duan Lingtian easily defeated divine monk Yuhao, among the people of Jianglan divine kingdom, he seemed to have replaced Jiang Haishan and become the most dazzling existence. Next, everyone listened quietly to the sermon of the Yongye divine monk. During this process, it was not difficult for Duan Lingtian to feel that the Yongye divine monk was not out of touch just now. He really meant to preach for him. Whenever he talked about the infinite way, the depth of his analysis showed his good intentions. And Duan Lingtian didn't let go of such a good opportunity and listened carefully. Unknowingly, he was fascinated by what he heard and even began to verify it in his mind. Gradually, his understanding of the infinite path gradually became clearer. Deepen, continue to deepen, and then grow more smoothly and break the bottleneck, done in one go. Before the end of the Yongye divine monk sermon, Duan Lingtian finally took the next step and successfully understood the infinite path to the 9th level, becoming a 9th level master who has mastered 2 9th level ways. Such existences are also recognized as half-step Hadao and quasi-Hadao. Because, for such a being, as long as he takes one more step forward and the 2 kinds of 9-level Dao merge into one, he will officially enter the united Dao realm. Congratulations, little friend. When Duan Lingtian successfully attracted everyone's attention, before anyone else could react, Yongye divine monk was the first to speak, congratulating Duan Lingtian. At this time, everyone else came to their senses and congratulated Duan Lingtian. Even the representatives from the Kuhai temple who had been at loggerheads with Duan Lingtian before, all of them congratulated him in a friendly manner, as if they wanted to mend their relationship with Duan Lingtian, including the bald man and old age. Now that they all realize that Duan Lingtian is not easy to mess with, they will naturally not be stupid enough to offend him. Such a being, even if we cannot be friends, we must not be enemies. In this way, Duan Lingtian successfully took a crucial step. The infinite way entered the 9th level, getting closer and closer to the Hadao realm. Next, he did not return to Jianglan divine kingdom with Jiang Haishan and others, but planned to stay for a while. It was said that he wanted to communicate with the Yongye divine monk, but in fact, he wanted to use the Kuhai temple to the piece of Hadao monument left behind, take a look and observe. This was also the condition he proposed to monk Yuhao. The price is that he cannot participate in the next Dao duel between Jianglan Divine Kingdom and Kuhai Temple. With him helping the Jianglan Kingdom, the Kuhai Temple felt that it was invincible and unmatched. They might lose the Hedao monument they were currently promoted to in 1,000 years. Duan Lingtian originally thought that if he listened to the sermons of the Yongye divine monk and his infinite way did not break through, he would put forward the conditions for the Yongye divine monk to continue to preach to him and help his infinite way to enter the 9th level. Now, since a breakthrough has been made, it is natural to change the conditions. Next, Duan Lingtian stayed in the main temple of Kuhai Temple and became a distinguished guest of Kuhai Temple. Jiang Haishan, Hong Dongchuan and other 4 people returned to Jianglan Divine Kingdom. Dongchuan, do you think that after 1,000 years, Brother Lingtian will still be in the Taoist realm? On the way back, Jiang Haishan couldn't help but ask Hong Dongchuan. It's hard to say. Hong Dongchuan shook his head at first. After all, there are many people who have reached this stage, let alone thousands of years. Even if they spend thousands or tens of thousands of years, they have not been able to enter the Hedao. But, Hong Dongchuan continued, those people may not be able to compare with Brother Lingtian in terms of talent and understanding. I have confidence in him, and I think he will enter the Hedao realm within 1,000 years. Jiang Haishan sighed. If this is the case, he won't be able to help us in the Dao duel 1,000 years later. It seems that I have to prepare for a rainy day. It doesn't matter if you lose after 1,000 years. It's like giving back the Hedao monument. If you lose 2 games in a row, you will lose all your foundation. Jiang Haishan's idea was actually shared by Divine Monk Yuhao. Even when Duan Lingshan's infinite path took a step further, Divine Monk Yuhao was doubting. Duan Lingtian was confident that he would reach the Hedao realm within 1,000 years, so he readily agreed to his request. However, even if he had such doubts, he would not be able to take back what he said. After all, Duan Lingtian was now worthy of the Kuhai Temple's initiative to befriend him. He did not see that the number 1 person in the Kuhai Temple, the Yongye divine monk, regarded him as a forever friend. Duan Lingtian stayed in Kuhai Temple for 3 full years before leaving. When leaving, the Yongye divine monk saw him off personally. Brother, stop it. I will come back to meet you again when I have time in the future. Duan Lingtian said hello and then withdrew. After leaving the Kuhai Temple and returning to the Jianglan Divine Kingdom, he first went back to Duan Mansion and stayed with his family for a month before heading to the capital to meet the royal family and prepare to inspect one of the 2 Hedao monuments in the hands of the royal family. Here, he also met the Hedao realm ancestor from the royal family of Jianglan Divine Kingdom, who was also quite polite to him and even gave him a sermon in private. However, because the other party's method is not what he is good at, there is not much improvement. Little friend Lington, please choose one of these 2 Hedao steel. The ancestor of the Hedao realm of Jianglan Divine Kingdom said, letting Duan Lingtian choose. This can be regarded as taking care of Duan Lingtian. You must know that in the past, Jiang Haishan didn't promise to give him the right to choose the Hedao monument. After all, Jiang Haishan couldn't make the decision yet. That's it. There are 2 Hedao tablets. The combined Tao has nothing to do with the way of sword and the infinite way. Duan Lingtian chose one of the Hedao tablets that contains the way of control. Time flies. 20 years passed in the blink of an eye. On this day, a loud noise that seemed to shake the earth spread in the sky of the royal family in the capital of Jianglan Divine Kingdom. Then all kinds of amazing visions appeared. Not only everyone in Jianglan Divine Kingdom saw it, but even the nearby people saw it. Everyone can see it clearly. In the direction of the Bitter Sea Temple, the Yongye divine monk walked out, looked at the astonishing vision in the direction of Jianglan Divine Kingdom, and murmured to himself, "A new Hedao has been born. Could it be my little friend Ling Tian?" Chapter 4684. He broke through so quickly? Jiang Haishan, the 9th level member of the royal family of Jianglan Divine Kingdom, was standing with a middle-aged man with a strong build and a face as beautiful as jade. Looking at the center of the vision of heaven and earth, the storm shook with great force and bursts of strange sounds. Echoing in the void, it seems to be telling some mystery. And this scene is not unfamiliar to Jiang Haishan. The people around him had experienced this scene in the past. This is the vision of heaven and earth caused by stepping into Hadao. In the world of gods and earth, the only ones who can cause strange phenomena in the world are those who are strong in Hadao. It is different from the creation chart world where visions of heaven and earth can be seen everywhere, because the rules of the latter are set by the owner of the creation chart. Whatever visions you want it to have, there will be any visions. In the world of divine soil, not only is the space solid and indestructible, even a powerful person who has entered the Tao can hardly tear the space apart, and the visions of heaven and earth are not something you can see even if you want to see them. I didn't expect that his talent and understanding would be so evil. The middle-aged man on the side couldn't help but sigh. He is the Hadao strongman of Jianglan Divine Kingdom, named Jiang Tianjing, and he is also the highest-ranking person in the royal family of Jianglan Divine Kingdom. Even Jiang Haishan respects him as ancestor, the center of the storm of the heaven and earth vision. Before the vision appeared, the buildings in this area had been destroyed and turned into ruins. A figure sitting cross-legged in the void is looming in the vision of heaven and earth. Astonishingly, he was a young man wearing purple clothes, with a handsome face and an extraordinary temperament. All he could see was his sharp eyebrows and starry eyes. Even if he closed his eyes to rest, he still gave people an invisible oppression, making people dare not look directly at him. At this moment, the entire royal family was alarmed. Suddenly, there was a loud noise from the sky, as if it was earth-shattering, and then thousands of strange phenomena gathered together, turning into a giant sword in the sky, standing upright on the sky, surrounded by countless small swords, and the number of small swords continued to increase. Even the strange phenomena of heaven and earth that spread around this place were all turned into small swords at this time. Countless small swords in the sky and the earth condensed and formed, surrounding the giant sword in the sky like stars over the moon. Even as the terrifying aura on the giant sword in the sky became more and more powerful, the number of small swords continued to increase, not only quickly covering the entire Jianglan Divine Kingdom, but also the surrounding areas of Jianglan Divine Kingdom, and even the bitter sea god. The small half area of the temple was filled with small swords scattered in the air. This is also someone who broke through and entered Hadao. Looking at the vision of heaven and earth at this time, he is combining the way of sword and the way of infinity. Infinite Kendo. Although there are only dozens of powerful Hadao people in the Divine Land world, and there are only 3 people in Jianglan Divine Kingdom and nearby areas, at this time, many powerful Taoists guess that there is something new through the vision of heaven and earth in front of them. A strong man in the Hadao realm birth. Even, it can be seen which 2 kinds of Tao are combined to achieve the harmonious state of Tao. Even in the Duan Mansion in Chuzhou City, a group of people were attracted by the vision on the horizon, especially Yu Shao and Zhao Ani, who guessed that this was the birth of the Hadao realm. The Elephant Queen also gasped in unison. Angry, with a look of shock on his face, there was a bit of expectation deep in his eyes. The Hadao realm was a realm they had never heard of in the past 10,000 realms and the land outside the realm. Although they have now entered the 7th level of the Tao, and seem to be not far from the Hadao realm, they are not confident that they can take that step and enter the Hadao realm before their lifespans come to an end. I don't know who the saint is, but he has actually stepped into the realm of harmony. Zhao Ani sighed. Neither he nor Yu Shao connected the vision of heaven and earth in front of them with Duan Lingtian. After all, in their eyes, Duan Lingtian is now just the 8th level of Taoism. The 2 of them did not even know about Duan Lingtian before. Breaking through to the 9th level of the Tao. Although Duan Lingtian came back 20 years ago, he did not mention this matter to them. However, several of his wives knew that he had broken through to the 9th level. Now, after seeing the vision of heaven and earth in front of them and learning that this was the birth of a powerful Hadao in the Jianglan Divine Kingdom, the 4 girls Kier, Huaner, Li Fei and Feng Tianwu all thought of it in unison. Their husband, Duan Lingnan, is it Brother Tian? Definitely. Jianglan Divine Kingdom has not seen a second Hadao strongman for many years. The person who breaks through now will most likely be Brother Tian. 20 years ago, when Brother Tian left, he said he would attack the Hadao realm. That should be right. During the conversation between the four women, there was a hint of excitement in their tone. After all, that is the Hadao realm. After coming to the divine land world for a while, they have realized what kind of cultivation realm the Hadao realm is. It is the cultivation realm that stands at the pinnacle of the divine earth world. Looking at the entire divine earth world, with this cultivation for whom only a few dozen people. Everyone is a giant in the world of gods and earth. For example, the Hadao level member of the royal family of Jianglan Divine Kingdom is a giant on the side of Jianglan Divine Kingdom. With him, Jianglan Divine Kingdom can continue to be passed on, unless he offends many Hadao level people and is killed together. Otherwise, even if it is other combinations in the Dao realm, as long as they are not sure of killing him at once, they will not dare to attack the Jianglan Kingdom easily. In the main temple of Kuhai Temple, Yongye Divine Monk came out of the air and headed straight to Jianglan Divine Kingdom, preparing to congratulate the strong man who had just broken through to the Hadao realm. In addition, I also want to confirm whether it is Duan Lingtian. Although he guessed it was Duan Lingtian, he didn't dare to be 100% sure until he saw the other party to confirm it thoroughly. In addition to the Eternal Night Divine Monk, in the sea area adjacent to the eastern border of Jianglan Divine Kingdom, on a huge island that looks like a paradise, there is also a person who flies through the air and enters Jianglan Divine Kingdom, heading straight to the vision of heaven and earth. Go away with your heart. I really didn't expect that Jianglan Divine Kingdom would produce another strong man in the Hadao realm. Is it that Jiang Haishan? With his talent, it is logically difficult for him to enter the Hadao realm. Well, just go and take a look and you'll find out. This person is the patron saint of the Qionghai Divine Island, behind the eastern sea area of Jianglan Divine Kingdom, and he is also the only Hadao realm powerhouse in Qionghai Divine Island. This. In the royal family of the capital of Jianglan Divine Kingdom, Hong Dongchuan had also rushed here. After confirming from the Jianghai Pass that it was Duan Lingtian who broke through, he was also shocked. He never expected that young man so quickly stepped into Hadao territory. How long has it been? The last time he sparred with the other party was only at the 8th level of Hadao realm. Thinking about it carefully, it seemed that it was less than 30 years ago, right? Congratulations to fellow Daoist Duan. When he saw Duan Lingtian open his eyes, the Hadao realm expert from the royal family of Jianglan Divine Kingdom reacted immediately and congratulated him continuously. Chapter 4685. Duan Lingtian opened his eyes, and his eyes were filled with light, as bright as the scorching sun on the horizon, making people afraid to look directly at him. Faced with the congratulations of Jiang Tianjing, a strong man in the Hadao realm of Jianglan Divine Kingdom, Duan Lingtian came to his senses immediately, smiled and nodded at the other party, and said with a friendly smile, "Senior, please protect me." Just now, he was in the process of breaking through the stability. Although he had the power to protect himself, his spiritual consciousness could not detect that Jiang Tianjing was protecting him. It's just a small thing. Jiang Tianjing shook his head and said with a smile, "Since you have now entered the Hadao realm, you don't need to call me senior. Just talk about being friends with me. If you think highly of me, just call me Brother Jiang." "Ha, hey Brother Jiang." Duan Lingtian smiled cheerfully, with great pride. After breaking through to the Hadao, he only felt that the way he looked at the world in front of him was different, except for the normal scenery he could see in the past, and you can still see the looming horizon, like the rainbow dragon's infinite sword. That's the way he fits. This road belongs to an old road, which is covered with devastation, but it contains a heart-stopping ancient atmosphere of vicissitudes of life, as if it is a mystery from ancient times, mysterious and unpredictable. The path of harmony is to step on the path of harmony, fighting with others and fighting with heaven. If the Tao is too bad, it will be like hanging in the air with no place to stay. When fighting with others, you will naturally be at a disadvantage. If the path you follow is a path that no one has ever walked before, then it is a new path. The pioneers of the new way, when they first enter the Hadao realm, their strength is unmatched by those who are in the Hadao realm of the old way, because the Tao is new and will help them even more. On this point, before Duan Lingtian made his breakthrough, he had heard it said by the Hadao realm eternal knight divine monk from Kuhai Temple. To put it simply, the road is not broken yet and we can move forward smoothly. The old road is generally a bad road. It has been trampled over and over by people who have followed this road in various eras. Basically, every time a move is made, the road will be more consumed and devastated. When a strong Hadao man takes action, his greatest reliance is the power of Hadao, and this power of Hadao comes from the combined Tao. The strength in the body of a strong Taoist has not changed at all compared to the 9th level of the Tao. Breakthrough is no longer like the past, it is a qualitative change of the power in the body. This time, the power has not undergone a qualitative change, not even a change. There is only one thing that has changed. That is, the Tao that I have performed in the past has been substantial. Transformed, I can take advantage of the more powerful it is given after its substantialization. With the power, take action against the enemy. The soul level has changed qualitatively. After joining the Tao, only the soul is improved, and the power in the body is still the power of entering the 9th level of the Tao. In fact, if you don't use the power of Hadao and only use the remaining 10,000 ways that have not yet been combined, you can't even defeat the normal 9th level of Dao. Of course, it is impossible for a strong Hadao man to take action without using the power of Hadao. If the Tao is borrowed too much from others, it is the same as the road being blocked by others. The strength that can be borrowed is not too strong. This is also the reason why the old way is not as good as the new way. However, it is not an easy task to join the new way. Otherwise, no one would choose to take shortcuts. For example, if the new owner or the old owner of the creation life chart wants to rely on the captive creatures in the creation life chart, the way of life sacrifice is a shortcut. The way of sacrifice is one of the most special ways among all the ways. It is impossible for ordinary people to come into contact with it, let alone understand and master it. Only the owner of the creation chart can understand it. This kind of Tao, no matter what kind of Tao it is combined with, the Tao that is born is a new Tao. In addition to this, the 3 paths merge into one, which is basically the new path. Because, without exception, the strong people who can embark on the integration of 3 paths are all talented people in the world of gods and earth. Their talents and understanding are astonishing. Even when 2 paths are combined, they can only follow the old path. When they take the 3rd path, when it comes to Tao, it is inevitable he will also choose a way that can combine with the original 2 to form a new way. In the world of gods and earth, any strong person who combines 3 ways will be remembered in history. It is no secret which 3 ways they use to combine the 3 ways. Infinite Sword Tao, in the past history of the divine earth world, many people have practiced it. Even now, according to what the Yongye divine monk said in the past, among the dozens of powerful Hadao masters in the contemporary divine earth world, there is still one who has practiced it. Also Infinite Kendo. After laughing, Duan Lingtan sighed secretly at the thought. Congratulations, Your Majesty, I have met Your Majesty. At this time, Jiang Haishan and Hong Dongchuan on the side bowed to Duan Lingtian, their voices full of awe. In the world of gods and earth, once you step into the Hadao realm, you are truly the most powerful person. A strong Hadao man, placed anywhere in the world of gods and earth, can be a king and hegemon. At this level, he can travel anywhere in the world of gods and earth, even if he encounters a Hadao who is stronger than himself. Even if he is defeated, he can escape. If Hadao wants to kill Hadao, he will not be able to escape unless the strength gap is huge or he finds an ingenious opportunity. Yes, otherwise it would be difficult to achieve. People in the world of gods and earth, when they meet a powerful person in the Hadao realm, they all respectfully call them venerable. Once you step into the Hadao realm, you can be called the honor of the divine land world. No matter how casual Hong Dongchuan was in front of Duan Lingtian in the past, he was not Duan Lingshan's best friend all the way. The moment Duan Lingtian entered the Hadao realm, he realized from the bottom of his heart that he and his opponent the gap between parties. Unless he can step into Hadao in his lifetime, he will never be able to look at Duan Lingtian with the same eyes he used to look at Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian also knew this, so he didn't say much, smiled and nodded to the two of them, and continued to meditate. Seeing this, the two of them didn't dare to disturb them. Even Jiang Tianjing continued to stand aside with a smile, looking very patient. Jiang Tianjing. Not long after, a voice came from the eastern sky. It was not loud, but it was extremely concentrated. Only Jiang Tianjing and Duan Lingtian beside him could hear it. Hearing this voice, Duan Lingtian came back to his senses and looked to the east above the clouds in the sky. His spiritual consciousness swept out, and he could feel that the spiritual consciousness that was not weaker than his was sweeping and colliding, which made him feel a tremble in his heart. Another Hadao strongman. Moreover, it is certain that he is not the eternal night monk from the Kuhai temple. Soon, a figure came from the east sky and appeared in front of Duan Lingtian. But it was a young man wearing a green robe, handsome in appearance, holding a folding fan in his hand, looking like a handsome young man. Zhou Qingchuan. Jiang Tianjing stared at the other party with lightning-like eyes, smiled calmly and said, "I didn't expect that even a lazy person like you would come to our Jianglan divine kingdom to join in the fun." Chapter 4686. Zhou Qingchuan. Although this is the first time Duan Lingtian has met this person, it is not the first time he has heard of him. Whether it was the Yongye divine monk, a powerful Hadao realm expert from Kuhai temple, or Jiang Tianjing, a Hadao realm powerhouse from Jianglan divine kingdom, they all told him about this person. This person is the first person on the Qionghai divine island east of Jianglan divine kingdom, and he is also a strong man in the Hadao realm. In the area surrounding Jianglan divine kingdom, there are only 3 powerful people in the Hadao realm, so the 3 of them usually stay close to each other, and they often take the time to visit and discuss the Dao. Ha! Lao Jiang, your Jianglan divine kingdom is so awesome, yet another Hadao realm person has appeared. Zhou Qingshan laughed, and his eyes quickly fell on Duan Lingen. He still has a strange face. However, it's not what I expected, because I thought it was unlikely to be Jiang Haitian before. Jiang Haitian is still far away from Hadao. Hearing this, Jiang Haitian on the side smiled bitterly, but did not dare to say anything more. Speaking of which, Zhou Qingshan was still a figure of his generation. Whether compared with his ancestor Jiang Tianjing or the Yongye divine monk from the Bitter Sea Temple, he was much younger. When he was young, he was overwhelmed by the opponent. At first, he wanted to chase the opponent, but after chasing him, he couldn't even see the opponent's back. Nowadays, the other party is as famous as their ancestors of the royal family of Jianglan Kingdom. This person, in fact, cannot be completely regarded as a monk from our Jianglan divine kingdom. Jiang Tianjing smiled and said, "He can only be considered as half of Jianglan divine kingdom at best. It is also our Jianglan divine kingdom's good luck that he happened to come to us." Oh! After hearing Jiang Tiansheng's words, Zhou Qingshan looked at Duan Lingtian with surprise. "Listen to what you said. Could this newly promoted fellow Taoist come from the world in the creation chart?" A few years ago, the new owner of the creation life chart was discovered and seriously injured, and even the creation life chart was severely damaged. He knew this. Of course, the incident did not happen near Qionghai Island, so he was not involved. Otherwise, those who are targeting the new owner of the creation chart will inevitably invite him to participate in the extermination of evil. Yes, this brother Duan Lingtian comes from the world in the creation chart. Jiang Tianjing nodded. Zhou Qingshan's eyes lit up, and he raised his hands to Duan Lingtian. "Fellow Taoist Duan, Zhou Qingshan is being polite." "Fellow Taoist Zhou." Duan Lingtian returned the greeting, and then started chatting with the other party when the other party intentionally spoke to him. Knowing that Duan Lingtian still had relatives and friends living abroad, Zhou Qingshan repeatedly promised that he would have people spread the news about Duan Lingtian widely within the Qionghai Divine Island, so that Duan Lingshan's relatives and friends who may exist on the Qionghai Divine Island can be found in the first place. Time returns to Duan Lingtian. He would help send someone to bring them back. When Duan Lingtian heard this, he immediately thanked him repeatedly. Although Qionghai Divine Island is located in the eastern area of Jianglan Divine Kingdom, due to the harsh environment of the surrounding sea areas, it is dangerous to cross the sea alone in ordinary ways. As a result, there is not much communication with the outside world, and most people live in a paradise. Because of this, although Duan Lingtian has long been famous in Jianglan Divine Kingdom and surrounding areas, Zhou Qingshan, who is on Qionghai Divine Island, has never heard of him. Otherwise, if someone here breaks through to the Hadao realm this time, he will definitely be able to pass. Duan Lingtian is good at 10,000 ways, and he guessed it on Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian, Zhou Qingshan and Jiang Tianjing gathered together to chat, while Jiang Haishan and Hong Dongchuan stood aside silently and respectfully. Congratulations to fellow Taoist Duan. Soon, the travel-worn Yongye divine monk also arrived. Although he had guessed that more than 90% of the people who broke through were Duan Lingtian before he came here, it was not until he saw Duan Lingtian with his own eyes that he finally confirmed it. Duan Lingtian made a breakthrough, and the Yongye divine monk's name for him changed from little friend to fellow Taoist. Fellow Taoist Duan, although it is a good thing that you have entered Hadao, I still want to remind you. The Yongye divine monk said with a solemn expression, although there are only a few dozen people in the Hadao realm in the world of gods and earth, before you break through, there is still one person who is also the Hadao swordsman and the infinite way. In the Hadao realm, if they are combined with the same Tao, once they attack at the same time, they will not be able to fully utilize the power of Hadao. Because of this, it is difficult to become friends even if you don't become enemies when you combine the same two ways. As the Yongye divine monk finished speaking, Jiang Tiansheng's expression became solemn. Not to mention the Yongye divine monk, I almost forgot about that person. At the same time, even Zhou Qingshan, who originally had a gentle smile on his face, could not help but tighten his face and his eyes became serious. Three of you, what are you? Duan Lingtian looked puzzled, wondering why the three of them were acting like this. Fellow Taoist Duan. Zhou Qingshan said in a deep voice, before you, there was another person in the world of gods and earth who also practiced the infinite swordsmanship. You must also know that if the contract is in the Hadao realm of the same Tao and exists in the same era at the same time, it would be fine if we don't take action at the same time. If we do it at the same time, it will affect the performance of the other party. If one of them fights to the death with others and the other person robs part of the power of Hadao at the same time, the opponent's offensive will be weakened, and they may even be defeated or even killed. As Zhou Qingshan finished speaking, Duan Lingshan's brows also wrinkled. So, not only will he affect another person in the world of God and earth who joins the infinite swordsmanship, but the other party will also affect him? Isn't this a natural enemy? If he is the only one, you don't need to be afraid of him, fellow Taoist Duan. But the problem is, that man's grandfather is still alive, and he is one of the only three strong men in the Hadao realm who can combine the three ways in the world of gods and earth. Jiang Tianjing looked at Duan Lingtan and warned, brother, why don't you go out and hide? I'm worried that that person can't think of anything for a moment and brings his grandfather to deal with you. If he is alone, he may not be able to deal with you, but he can be added that grandfather, even if you are lucky enough to escape, I'm afraid you won't feel well. Injured once, and targeted a second time, it might be the end of life or death. In the world of gods and earth, although strong people in the Hadao realm are rarely killed by others, it is not that no one is killed. As Jiang Tianjing finished speaking, Yongye divine monk also gave Duan Lingtian the same advice. Zhou Qingshan also advised him from the side, fellow Taoist Duan, you should hide and avoid the limelight. The meaning expressed by the three people was very obvious. There was no way to make enemies of those two people for Duan Lingtian. What they could do was to help Duan Lingtian prepare for a rainy day and let Duan Lingtian hide early so as not to be caught by the other party. Duan Lingtian was speechless for a while, but he couldn't help but feel a little angry in his heart. He thought that after entering the Hadao realm, he would stand at the pinnacle of the world of gods and earth and not be afraid of anyone. Who would have known that just after this breakthrough, he would learn that he might suffer an unexpected disaster? The Hadao realm of the three Daos. For a moment, Duan Lingshan's face became unsightly, but deep in his eyes, there was a cold and fierce light flashing. Chapter 4687. In the world of gods and earth, the most powerful ones are those who combine the three realms. Next, there are the newer combined Tao realm experts who combine two Tao and the harmonious Tao. Although Duan Lingtian has also entered the Hadao realm, the infinite sword way he has joined belongs to the old path that many people in the world of gods have walked. It is now dilapidated, so the power of Hadao that he can draw on is limited. In this case, there are still people who want to compete with him for the power of harmony. Not to mention that the other party would be unhappy, even he himself would be unhappy. Do you want to destroy me? I still want to kill you. However, after learning that the other party was not only a member of Hadao, but also a grandfather of Hezendao behind him, and might even lead his grandfather to attack him, Duan Lingshan's heart sank, and at the same time, he also felt a sense of conflict deep in his heart. Quantity of yearning. In the third path, he must merge into the infinite sword path. The way of control, integrating the three ways of infinite swordsmanship and combining them. No one has ever taken this path in the history of the world of gods and earth. Now, his control has reached the 8th level, which is comparable to that of Old Man Wukong back then. As long as he steps further to the 9th level, he can embark on the path of combining the three ways. I hope he will be wiser and not mess with me. Otherwise, even if he has a grandfather who combines three ways, I will kill him. Duan Lingshan's eyes flashed with murderous intent. He has never been a submissive person. Otherwise, he would not have achieved what he has today. Most of his cultivation and promotion path was accomplished by force. Taking a deep breath, Duan Lingtian looked at Jiang Tianzheng and asked about that person's situation. After learning that the man behind him was also an ancient family with a great business, Duan Lingtian felt relieved. In this way, he didn't worry about the other party being angry with his family and friends if they couldn't catch him. Jiang Tianzheng and the other three also bluntly said that the other party has more wives and children than Duan Lingtian, and they are not in the Hadao realm without any worries. Moreover, if the competition between the Hadao realm involves the other party's relatives and friends, it will anger the rest of the world of gods and earth. A strong man in the Hadao realm who has a family and a sect. After all, no one wants a strong person in the same situation to break this bottom line. It couldn't be easier for a strong person in the Hadao realm to really go crazy and want to kill the family, friends, or even disciples of another strong person in the Hadao realm. Brother, if you are worried, bring your family and friends to the imperial city. Here, as long as I am here, I can take care of them. Jiang Tianzheng said bluntly. Thank you very much, Brother Jiang. Duan Lingtian thanked him repeatedly. He also felt that this was safer, and even if he did not plan to hide, he would not continue to stay in Jianglan Divine Kingdom. Because the moment he stepped into the Hadao realm, he faintly felt the atmosphere of his former homeland. He knew that it should be the breath of the wounded creation life. This surprised him. Because, as far as he knew, the new owner of the creation life chart was the Tiandao of the former world and the land outside the world. He was a strong man in the Hadao realm. After being besieged, he narrowly escaped death and brought him to the world. Escaped with the damaged creation chart, there was no news from him until the day he was born, and his whereabouts have not been found to this day. But now, he can sense where the other person is. To be precise, it is the location of the creation chart. Is it possible that because I am a life born from the world created in the creation chart, I can sense the direction of home after I step into the Hadao realm? Duan Lingtian could only explain it in his mind like this. Apart from that, he really couldn't figure out why he could sense that aura after breaking through the Hadao. Therefore, after settling his family and friends, he planned to visit the hiding place of the new owner of the creation chart. Now, not many years have passed since the last time the other party was seriously injured. Even if the opponent was stronger than him in his heyday, his injuries may not have healed now. As long as he is still injured, he is not afraid of the opponent. Let's see if we can the creation life chart. Duan Lingtian is not very interested in the way of life sacrifice that can be understood after getting the creation life chart. He wants to get the creation life chart because he wants to see if his former hometown of Wanjie, the land outside the world, can still exist. The last time, the new owner of the creation life pan was besieged. He was in the world and saw the world collapse with his own eyes, and he was also thrown out of that world. In addition, while being thrown out, he also saw the Tower of Babel shattered. It seems that all the gods who were in the Tower of Babel at that time had been eliminated by the new owner of the creation life chart. In other words, it has become the other party's food and nourishment. I hope that the world of the 10,000 realms and the land beyond the boundary will still be there. Although the world of the divine land is good, it is still not as good as the homeland. Even if Duan Lingtian has reached this point, he still cannot forget his homeland. If he has the chance, he still wants to go back to your hometown to live, practice, spend time with your family, and be quiet, sit quietly and watch the clouds roll and relax. In the past, he had thought that if he could step into the Hadao realm, he would see if there was a chance to obtain the creation life chart, reopen his homeland, and let his family and friends, as well as those who wanted to return to the original world and the land outside the world, creatures, all one get up and go back. Of course, he didn't tell the three great unions in front of him about being able to sense the breath of the creation life chart. Once you say it, it will definitely cause trouble. The existence of the creation chart is too sensitive for Hadao in the world of gods and earth. He could even foresee that if he could really obtain the creation chart, once the news spreads, even if he did not practice the way of life sacrifice, those in the world of gods and earth would not be able to let him go. To be precise, it is impossible to let go of the creation chart. Fellow Taoist Yongya, fellow Taoist Zhou, then I will go pick up my family and friends first. We will get together again when we have the opportunity. After saying hello to the Yongya divine monk and Zhou Qingshan, Duan Lingshan's figure disappeared in a flash. At the same time, on the infinite sword path on the horizon, an undercurrent surged, sweeping all the way towards Chuzhou. After entering the Hadao realm, Duan Lingtian used the power of Hadao to return to the sky above Duan Mansion in Chuzhou City within a short time. Is that person also borrowing power? When he was approaching Chuzhou City, Duan Lingtian could feel that the power of infinite sword Dao was being borrowed by someone else. It was not difficult to guess that it was the one who had mastered it just like him. Those who practice unlimited swordsmanship are also borrowing the skills of unlimited swordsmanship. The power of harmony. In a place extremely far away from Jianglan Divine Kingdom. In an ancient city that is located deep in the mountains and looks like a giant beast, a figure stands in the sky. The looming sword light roars around it. It is very sharp. The terrifying sword intent sweeps across all directions, making people afraid to approach. This is a young man wearing a green robe. He has a resolute face and a superb temperament, but his brows are furrowed together at this moment. There are actually people who have entered the Hadao realm with unlimited swordsmanship? Although there were strange phenomena when he entered the Hadao realm, when Duan Lingtian broke through, the strange phenomena also swept across the area near Jianglan Divine Kingdom. This place was far away and could not be seen. In addition, the news has not reached here yet, so this person only guessed that someone had joined the Infinite Way and Kendo and entered the Hadao realm by discovering that others were also borrowing the power of the Infinite Kendo. This is undoubtedly a huge bad thing for him. Who is it? The green-robed young man's face was gloomy, with murderous intent in his eyes, looking at the world of the eyes and earth. Among those who are hopeful of joining the Tao realm, who doesn't know that I am joining the Tao of infinite swordsmanship? How dare you combine the Infinite Way and the Sword Way to enter the Combined Way realm? You think I'm easy to bully? Chapter 4688. The world of Divine Land is so big and vast that even a strong person in the Hadao realm can travel at full speed and circle around the world of Divine Earth. Even without considering the obstacles that may be encountered on the way, it will not take more than a few months. There is no way to finish the walk. You know, even Duan Lingtian, a newly promoted Hadao, only took less than a quarter of an hour to return from Jiangzhou, where the capital of Jianglan Divine Kingdom is, to Chuzhou City, where Duan Mansion is located. It can be seen that the Hadao realm is strong. Speed so fast and outrageous. To the north of the Jianglan Divine Kingdom is the endless sword territory, and to the east and south are the boundless seas. After the eastern sea is the Qionghai Divine Island, and there is land a long way after the southern sea area. The land there is far away from the Jianglan Divine Kingdom. It is better than walking 10 times around the 4 borders of Jianglan Divine Kingdom. Even if Jianglan Divine Kingdom, Endless Sword Domain, Qionghai Divine Island and Bitter Sea Temple located to the west of Jianglan Divine Kingdom are put together, they are actually just a corner in the world of Divine Land. Although there used to be 3 major Hideos here, and there were only a few dozen Hideos in the world of gods and earth. However, the reason why the 3 major Hideos gathered here is because this area is suitable for human survival, and they all like to be here. Bien Anjia, even if it is an outsider coming from some dangerous place outside, staying here for a while, also unwilling to leave. In the world of the gods, there are shocking crises lurking in many places. Of course, after a crisis, there are often some chance encounters. Practitioners who emerge from desperate situations and understand a certain Tao that they have never come into contact with before are everywhere in the world of gods and earth. The Wanshan Qin family is a family that has been passed down for countless years in the Wanshan domain of the Divine Land world. In the contemporary world of the Divine Earth, it is one of the top forces. Just because Wanshan Chen's Shuanghadao, one of them, He Dao, is one of the only few strong men in the world of God and earth who can combine the 3 Dao. Grandfather, there is someone who follows the path of infinity and swordsmanship. He wants to steal my power of Hadao. I want to kill him. The young man wearing a green robe is also one of the 2 contemporary Hadao masters of the Wanshan Qin family. One of them, Chen Mingho, took the initiative to find his grandfather, another Hadao strongman of the Wanshan Qin family, a Hadao who was more powerful than him. The powerful master of the 3 paths. What? After hearing his grandson's words, Chen Jiuxiao, who looked like a middle-aged man, couldn't help but frown, looking at the entire world of gods and earth, who doesn't know that your path of harmony is the path of infinity and kendo. Even if some people have deeper attainments in the first 2 paths, in order to avoid you when they attack the combined path, they will choose to comprehend another path and combine with the infinite path or the sword path. How dare you forcefully merge the infinite way and the sword way into the combined way? Are you trying to make enemies of our Wanshan Qin family? When the words fell, Chen Jiuxiao's eyes were filled with murderous intent, and his face seemed to be covered with a layer of frost in an instant. Even if you don't fear his grandson, you should still worry about him, right? Even if you don't give him face as a grandson, you dare to ignore him? Do you know who it is? Chen Jiuxiao asked in a deep voice. Chen Mingho shook his head. We don't know yet. It will probably take some time before we know who he is. Good. Chen Jiuxiao nodded, a cold light raging in his eyes. When I know who he is, if I have a chance, I will take action. If you and I join forces, even if we can't save him the first time, we will definitely be able to save half of his life. As long as we can find him again within a short period of time, he will definitely die. Chen Jiuxiao is still very confident about his own strength. After receiving his grandfather's approval, Chen Mingho's expression relaxed a lot, and at the same time he changed the topic and asked, Grandpa, is there any news recently about the new owner of the creation chart, Yu Luaha? No. Chen Jiuxiao shook his head and sighed. That guy cherishes his life very much. Not only did he use the life-saving means that we had prepared long ago when we surrounded him last time, but he even took away the creation life chart. Got it. As soon as he left, I knew it wouldn't be that easy to catch him again. Now it seems that it is indeed the case. After hearing this, Chen Mingho also sighed. It would be great if we could find him in private and steal the creation chart. If only our grandfather and grandson could find him in the present on the basis of the Tao, combined with the Tao of living sacrifice, the world of gods and earth will be restored. Who is the opponent of our grandfather and grandson? As he spoke, Chen Mingho couldn't help but reveal a bit of greed in his eyes. It's easier said than done. Chen Jiuxiao shook his head, although everyone shouts about the way of living sacrifice. In fact, how many of those guys don't want to take that way? It's just that they don't want anyone to take that way, so we all choose to intercept that one. The right way. After all, the way of living sacrifice is not only a rare way among all the ways, but also a way that no one has practiced in the world of gods and earth. This kind of Tao, once the combination is successful, the power of the combination it promotes can be imagined. In the world of gods and earth, how many people have reached the level of cultivation that is the Hadao realm and do not ignore the common people? Do you really think that everyone is compassionate and compassionate? Isn't it because everyone is rushing to attack the owner of the creation chart because they are worried that others will use the creation chart to get ahead of them? Not only was he involved in the siege and killing of the new owner of the creation life chart, but he was also involved in the past action of besieging and killing the old owner of the creation life chart. However, at that time he had not yet joined the third path, and was only in the world of gods and earth. One of the Changhido. To kill the old master of the creation life chart, he relied entirely on a few other strong men who combined the three paths. It's a good thing you didn't mention this. You suddenly mentioned this, and I remembered something. Chen Jiuxiao's eyes flashed. Back then, before the old owner of the creation life pan was besieged and killed, we heard each other mention it. In the creation world, there are also beings with the same strength as the 9th level of the Tao. But they all became him. The nourishment not only helped him to enter the 9th level of the way of life sacrifice, but was even about to successfully merge with the way. That time, there was no life left in the world of creation and horoscope. But this time, the creation life chart was damaged, and many creatures from the creation life chart world fled to the divine land world. Among them, there are probably some who are comparable to the 9th level of the Tao. The new Hadao who joins the infinite Kendo you are talking about doesn't come from the world of the creation life plan, right? After coming to the world of gods and earth, he successfully merged with the Tao? If that's the case, he doesn't know that you are combining the infinite way and sword Tao, and he doesn't know that combining infinite sword Tao will offend you and offend our Wanshan family, so it's normal. Hearing this, Chen Mingho also felt that this was possible, but his murderous intent remained unabated. Regardless of whether he knows my existence or not, he must die. If he doesn't die, someone will always be able to steal the power of unlimited swordsmanship from me. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.